So welcome back to our series on data cleansing. The first node that we want to talk about is the replace categories node. And for this video, you can use the NHTSA Data from your examples folder. And this data contains a lot of columns, most of which we don't really care about for this video. But if you haven't seen this data yet, this is data that is mainly textual, and it describes certain events related to auto kind of malfunctions or certain issues with vehicles. This is publicly reported and publicly available data. And along with the text summary, there are other structured attributes that we might care about. And these could be important pieces of information that we would like to consider. So for example, OEM tires, we can look at this and we can see this is just a categorical or string attribute. But if we look a little bit closer, we can see that this is formatted in a very strange way. And what I mean by that is I can see that there's a yes entry, a Y, no, an N, an unknown, a not available, what appears to be another unknown, a Y question mark, a Y. So this looks to me like it is attempting to represent a Boolean attribute with some missing values. Is it yes or is it no? And what it appears to have happened is that they collected this maybe from multiple sources, so it's in different formats. One might have yes, one might have Y. Or this was available in the data collection stage as a free text entry where people just typed in whatever. So some people chose to type in yes, some people chose to type in Y, some people decided to give a more lengthy answer. And this is not the format that we probably want to use. A nice clean Boolean is probably the desired output if you want to do any analysis on it. So we want to normalize this data, then to choose a standard format to represent our data values, and make sure that all of our other values are transformed to adhere to that standard. And we can do that with the replace categories node, which is under column operations. So I'll drag my replace categories onto my workflow, and then I'll format this with properties. And the first thing I like to do is to tell PolyAnalyst what column am I interested in. And in this case, it's the OEM tire. And I'll have the ability to drop the source. And by default, if I make any changes in the data, PolyAnalyst will actually preserve the original column and then just create a new column that has a suffix on it to indicate it's the one with the replacements made to it. But if I don't care about this new column, I just want to directly mutate my data, I can hit drop source to make sure I'm just directly changing the data as it is and keep the column name. The next thing I want to do is go to my Values Map tab. This will show me all of the possibilities that are in that data. So I can see something like yes, Y. I need to choose a standard format for that to adhere to. And since the majority are all already mostly Y, in fact, we'll sort by that support here. So we can see, there we go. So it's very common for them to use Y and N. So maybe that's since they're the most common, we'll just stick to that. So for yes, I'll go down to yes, and under the outputs column, I'll type in what I want that to be, which is Y. And for no, I'll also type what I want that to be, N. And I'll do this for all of the ones that I care to change. So I'll go down this list, and this requires some human interpretation, unless you know your data and you know exactly why certain things were represented and you can have a more algorithmic approach. But since I'm not familiar with how much data is collected, I have to interpret something. So why? I believe that means yes, and why question mark? There could be a reasonable case that should be no, or maybe I shouldn't leave that missing. If I want to leave that missing, what I'll do is instead of giving an output, I will click on the action and discard it. So this will do is it will replace y question mark with a null value. And at the end of the day, you can see the outputs that I am like adding to the system. So I'm adding an n. There's one case where I do that. And then I'm adding a y, and there's 3 cases where I do that. And so that's all there really is to the replace categories node. We identify the certain data values in our column or columns that we would like to change to a normalized standard form, and we just directly tell PolyAnalyst how to do that. And if we'd like to discard values entirely, we have that option. So once I'm happy, maybe I've gone and I've taken care of the rest. So for example, unknowns, maybe I want those to be null. Okay, I'll go ahead and add those, but once I'm done, I can hit OK or execute. And now if I return to my data, go to that column, you'll see that all those values we changed are no longer present. So in our original column, we had unknown, y question mark, and those are no longer present in our new data. They've been replaced with either null values or y or n. So that is the replace categories node. It's very useful for changing some structured data or what should be structured data but is likely captured with some text, free entry text, or reformatting your data so that it is an appropriate form. There's many different uses for replace categories. Next time, join us and we'll talk about a little bit more advanced techniques of replacing information that's actually inside some larger unstructured data. I look forward to talking to you then.